utility vehicle is continues to be blurred. BMW was one of the first manufacturers to blur that line with the introduction of the original X6 Sports Activity Coupe back in 2009. Now, this vehicle did so well for them sales-wise, they've introduced a second generation, and this week I'm just outside of Portland, Oregon with Mount Hood in the background, and we're testing out the highest performance spec X6M. So if you guys have six figures to spend and you're a sports car enthusiast in need of some practicality, is this vehicle worth a look? That's what we're here to find out. Spend this kind of money on a vehicle, design is very important, and you can see the X6 definitely makes a design statement, just like the original first generation. So for this second generation, BMW obviously took an evolutionary approach, but I also think they made a really good amount of changes to make this vehicle really stand out. You can see all the traditional BMW design elements are here, the twin kidney grille, these adaptive full LED headlights, which are part of an executive package. You also have LED fog lights here. And then when you get the M model, you have this M-specific front bumper with the more aggressive air intakes. It just makes this vehicle very cohesive. It's very recognizable as a BMW. Now, being the M model, this also has its own specific wheels. These are 21-inch wheels. There are three different wheels to choose from. These are kind of the gray finish with the polished look. You have blue brake calipers, which are like a 6-piston. It's a very attractive looking car. Now, when it comes to the size, this vehicle is actually the top spec in the BMW lineup for SUVs until the X7 comes out. It rides on a 115-inch wheelbase, which is the same as the X5, which is on its base. It's also about an inch longer than the X5, around 193 inches long. It's also about an inch wider and 2 inches lower to give this car more of like a coupe-like stance. And at the back, this is really where it started a controversy in terms of the design. It has that sloping rear end that kind of eats into the cargo area. These new taillights are pretty attractive. I think the rear end looks a lot better than the first generation. Then, of course, being an M model, you're going to have the company's signature quad outlet exhaust, which does sound pretty good, although I did find that I wanted a little bit more noise. The AMG competitors definitely give you some more space. The BMW is a little bit too quiet. Now, this car is over $100,000, so it does have features like a power tailgate. It's also like a hands-free function, and surprisingly, the cargo area is really useful, despite the fact that it has this sloping roof area. You're looking at around 26 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Fold them down, you get about 60 cubic feet of space. Now, that is less than the X5. Obviously, it's about 10 to 15 cubic feet less, but I was very surprised to see how incredibly useful the cargo area is for this vehicle. Now, because this is the most expensive X6 you can buy, the company's smart key access system with push-button start does come standard. Usually, BMW makes you pay extra for it, but thankfully, they don't on the M model. You can see this is the new key fob that I've showed you on some other BMW products. It definitely looks interesting. It's large. It does feel pretty high quality. I like the aluminum trim that they surrounded in, but when you approach the vehicle, you can see here, just keep the key fob in your pocket or your purse. To lock the vehicle, there's a little button or ridge here. Just kind of touch the area there that locks the door. It also beeps. To unlock it, there's a sensor on the back of the handle. Just put your hand there and then it unlocks the door for you. Now, looking at the interior of my particular tester, I really like the color combination with the Melbourne red and the beige full leather, Milano leather interior. It's definitely a nice place to spend time, and BMW has kind of been criticized in the past for having interiors that are kind of behind its competition. I think they're definitely starting to step it up. I really like the kind of, sport racing Recaro style seats. They really hug you. I believe they're like 14-way adjustable. They're heated and cooled when you get the executive package. It's just really nice. Now, when you get inside this vehicle, it has a pretty easy step-in height. The roof line isn't quite as low as in the back seat, so you don't have to duck your head too much. And then when you shut the door, it sounds nice and solid when you shut the door, so that's also adding to the level of quality. Now, when you keep the key fob in the vehicle, all you have to do is just put your foot on the brake and then push this button here to fire up the engine. And you guys can hear the engine sounds really nice at initial startup, which is definitely important with this type of vehicle with an M badge. Look god, it sounds really good. We'll go into the test drive. We'll see if the great engine sounds continue that tradition when you were actually start driving. And now looking at the rest of the interior here, you can see materials are all pretty nice. You have full leather on the dash. It's all stitched. You have the carbon fiber trim with the piano black accents here. It's all very nice. It's all complemented by the BMW iDrive system. I believe this is either a 10 or a 12-inch display. It looks like the 10-inch display. It's now a touchscreen, which BMW added for 2017 when they updated the iDrive system. This is now the 6th generation of the iDrive system, which is one of the best in the industry. So you guys are really getting, or BMW is really learning a lot from feedback from the earlier iDrive systems. And you can see here are the gauges. They're kind of a mixture of a display at the bottom with traditional analog. They're very traditional BMW. BMW has a full LCD display available on some of their newest models, but not on this particular one. I think it looks nice. You have this M-specific steering wheel with the traditional tricolors of the M, badge from the M here on the steering wheel, which looks nice. You have these steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, which are aluminum with plastic accents, which also feel really good. The door panels are also soft touch with more of that, carbon fiber trim. It's soft touch there. You can put something there like your phone. The windows are one-touch automatic up and down. You kind of expect that. My tester has the $3,700 Bang & Olufsen sound system, which sounds great, which is all good. When you put the vehicle into reverse here, it does give you a backup camera with front and rear parking sensors. It's all really nice. The camera quality is also really good. Resolution is excellent. You kind of expect that in the German competitor set. It's all really nice and easy to use for the most part. Down here you have your climate control settings, or system. It has two big knobs. It has your volume knob there, a tuning button here, not a tuning knob. This is all very traditional. BMW hasn't really changed this much over the years. They don't really need to, although I do think that it's time they need to kind of introduce something a little bit more technologically focused, which they're going to be doing on their newer models. You do have a wireless charging pad on this particular model. With the executive package, you have two cup holders here. This controls the 8-speed automatic, which tries to mimic a manual shifter or their DSG transmission. There's actually no park button here. To put it into drive, you kind of just kick it over to the right. Put it into reverse, you kind of go over there to the left. And it actually stays where you left the position. Neutral, as you can see right there. And then it comes back to the side here to let you know. It also has the manual mode if you want to go forward and back there or use the paddles. These buttons here adjust the actual drive modes. You can see you can individually change the engine response to efficient, sport plus, or sport. Same with the suspension tuning and the steering. So the level of customization here is there. And then you also, with an M model, you have these M1 and M2 buttons, which you can change to your preference. Right now, M1 puts it into like a sport engine, comfort suspension, comfort steering. M2 puts it into sport plus, sport suspension, and sport steering, which again, you can change that if you guys choose to do so in the settings. Over here you can see more buttons here for the parking sensors, your cameras, your hill descent control, stability control off button is there. This